Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, postwrestling.com, and wherever you found your podcasts in your podcast app.
Such as, let me get used to this, twitch.tv/PoisonRanaPod.
Wow.
Or youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod.
It's going to get real confusing.
YouTube have added this weird @ It's weird. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Oh,
they
YouTube
do the / and then @
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Okay. Well, welcome to upNXT. Now, we know what you're thinking. Where will upNXT go? Is upNXT going to still be a thing? Yes, it is, in fact, going to be a thing, and will continue to be a thing. But we started this show as part of Post Wrestling alongside the godfathers of this shit, John Pollock and Wei Ting. And starting this Saturday for our NXT Deadline post show, it will be a post show because you will not find us on the Poisonrana YouTube or Twitch. We will be on the Post Wrestling YouTube page. And going forward, every upNXT on Tuesday nights and any NXT related post shows, Davie and myself will be on the Post Wrestling YouTube feed going live.
That is right. And if you are someone who doesn't watch us live or the video version but listen to the audio one, go and subscribe to Post Wrestling if you haven't already. We assume most of you are already subscribed. But this show will be moving to the Post Wrestling feed.
That's
but
right.
that doesn't mean you should delete this one, because as you've probably noticed after last week, upNXT has changed. And we're now going by Poisonrana. You've got that psychedelic frog in the lucha mask on your Apple Podcasts, your podcast addicts and all that.
Yeah.
We've changed. So keep this feed alive because we're going to be posting a lot on there starting this Sunday.
Yeah, so much stuff going on. We even got a website, poisonrana.ca, which is pretty much just a landing page for all the links for all our stuff. So if you ever get lost, just go to that site. And coming soon is even more amazing stuff, including our Instagram. I said on a show this week, that we had 0 followers, and now we've got like 140. So
amazing.
At PoisonRanaPod on Twitter and Instagram.
We got it pulled down before when we had an upNXT Instagram for just being too fucking crazy, I guess. I don't know.
On the Insta.
But we're having another go.
Yeah.
And go follow the Instagram.
Yeah, go follow us on Instagram, and hell, I even made a TikTok, so go follow us there too, but I haven't posted anything.
Have you talked yet?
I have not, but I have ticked.
Nice.
So go follow all that stuff. It's going to be confusing, but also not. So going forward, we're not going to be doing BD Elite, but we're going to be doing Poisonrana, and that's basically just us doing a weekly wrestling kind of podcast where we talk a little bit about everything. So our first one, we're going to be going live this Sunday at 2 p.m. on our Twitch and our YouTube. So youtube.com @PoisonRanaPod.
Again, the best thing again, just go to poisonrana.ca and you can follow either. I think we're going to be trying to do maybe more YouTube than Twitch, but for now we'll keep both feeds going.
Hell yeah.
So whichever one you prefer, go on there. It's going to be, more of a... We're definitely going to be covering AEW, as we're no longer talking about that on Wednesdays. So we'll have a lot of focus on AEW, but also a bit more time on like kind of the news of the week, some outlandish rumors that have been there, kind of what we do sometimes at the beginning of these shows, but a bit more extended, allowing us to give more of our thoughts about it. But it should be a fun show. I'm really looking forward to starting this one.
Yeah, we have tons of ideas for different podcasts, and we can't wait to kind of do that. So stay on this feed. Up next, we'll be moving to the post-wrestling feed, but it's still going to be the same old BDE, being your NXT friends. We'll always be your NXT friends. But yeah, this feed is going to become our own feed. And Poisonrana is going to be a show where we talk about all sorts of different stuff. The Rock, possibly versus Roman is something I want to talk about this weekend. The Bloodline stuff, all sorts of different stuff. We're going to be covering wrestling just as a whole general, more of a discussion show rather than review. But if you still like our reviews, well, we'll be doing Up Next, like we mentioned. But you can check us out at patreon.com/Poisonrana.
Yes.
Which, wow, I said it. I nailed it on the first take.
We're doing, if you're watching, every time we're kind of saying one of these new addresses, we're nodding because we're trying to make sure we're saying it right.
Because we have changed things over there as well, because it is now the Poisonrana Patreon, meaning there's no more North American or world champions. There is only friends and family.
That is right.
And well, for $5 a month, you can become a friend. And that means you get access to all the shows that we put out there, including everything in that back catalog of all the What's Next, retro NXT reviews, all that stuff, including our movie reviews, all the stuff that we've announced for this monthly schedule. But if you're insane and you want to become a family member,
an oos.
Well, yeah, you can become that. $25 a month.
It does sound a little cultish. I agree. It's a bit Joe Gacy. Give us your money and you can be in our family. But we're not taking anyone's passports away from them or anything like that.
You've caught up on the Teddy Dog. Maybe we'll talk about that on Sunday. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that is where you get access to Behind the BDE, which is a monthly exclusive show. But then you access where you get to pick stuff, and then you join us for a show we called Up Yours. And speaking of, we have one that we're going to be dropping sometime tomorrow afternoon, because we're going to be recording an Up Yours to finish off a trilogy we have been talking about throughout the years. World Champ member, or should I say family member, Chris Price has selected the third installment of Back to the Future.
Can't wait for this.
Great Scott. So,
yeah.
Our other two reviews are out on the back catalog there, but we're gonna jump in the DeLorean and chat all about that movie, and then talk to Chris a little bit as well,
and probably try and figure out what the hell he's gonna pick next, because
he's picked all three now.
He's just done Back to the Future. This is the third time round on Up Yours. He's picked his poison, if you will.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wonder what next.
We had a What's Next where we chatted about Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville going at it, which was awesome.
Absolutely. Like, this is definitely where you feel we're coming to the end of 2013. We're moving into December now. Sami's hot, wouldn't you know it? What's happening now?
Yeah.
And Neville. And they had a hell of a match. And just think, it's only a few months away before we get to the very first kind of network premium live event of NXT.
Not to forget, Sasha Banks is totally the boss now. Like, wearing the boss.
Oh,
everything. And these retro NXT reviews are fun.
It's really getting fun
considering where wrestling is now, where some of these guys are and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So those are some shows that we just have out this week, but more to come, including, I think we can announce it now, that on December 18th, we will be recording a very special Christmas movie review, Home Alone 2, and we will be joined by John Pollock from Post Wrestling to talk about, well, he stated that he said Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1. Well, we're going to have to review the damn thing. By it. And
next year I'll oppose that Home Alone 3 is better than all of them.
So, that turned like 25 this month.
Wow, probably.
Like yeah. I don't know if we should get to that one, but maybe one day. So we'll be joined by John Pollock. And you know what? If you're a patron, we're going to be recording this show over Zoom with John. And I've decided that if you are a patron, you'll have access to the Zoom link, and you can hang out live and ask questions and stuff during the whole review. So it'll be a whole Christmas party with John Pollock. I'm sure he'll absolutely love it.
Oh, absolutely. No, I can't. Last year's was so much fun.
It was.
Go back and listen to that if you haven't, the Home Alone 1 review. I'm pretty sure you've all seen this film.
Yeah.
It's one of John's favorites. It was a blast talking to him, not about wrestling. So this was so much fun. But also, it is coming to the end of the year. We will be doing, at the end of the year, our Best Match Ever 2022 show. So the way we do this is kind of a whole polling thing with our Facebook group and our Patreon. So Start putting in the Facebook group what your favorite matches of the year are. We're going to put together a list of 25 matches that you are going to vote on, and it's kind of a combined top 10 between our listeners and Braden and I for best match ever. So start throwing your suggestions into the Facebook group, now known as Poisonrana.
Yeah, everything. Getting hit with that Poisonrana. I'm going to make sure that every time you see a goddamn Poisonrana in a match, you're going to think of us.
I thought you were going to say every time you see a frog, you're going to think of us.
I almost bought a frog the other day.
I'm allergic. I'm sorry. can't. My asthma. I can't
just
be dealing with a frog in the house.
I'm allergic to cats, not frogs.
No, it fucks up my breathing.
What if we got a frog for the set and then we put him in a lucha mask? No, I'm joking.
I feel like that's cruel, and you probably wouldn't stand still.
You don't think we could take care of a frog? We don't have a name for
I
our
don't think
frog.
you can take care of a frog.
They were really. It was really small, so I didn't do it. But also, I'd have to buy the tank and all that stuff. And but we don't have a name for our frog. Shout out Robert Pearson, who did all the graphics for us. You'll definitely be hearing us shouting him out again because everyone's loving this frog. We don't have a name for it, so we got to get on that.
Kona.
Kona the frog.
We got to keep the NXT alive
somehow, some way, secretly. I
know alliteration is like kind of the common thing. You know, Steve. Freddy the frog or some of that. Steve. Kona, Hank Walker the frog.
So far, I'm leaning on Kona. I think it's a good idea.
Again, go to the Facebook group. Yeah, give us suggestions.
Yeah.
Or we could do an Instagram question. Like, what should we call a frog?
Well, we have a lot of stuff going on, but hey, thanks for everyone for the feedback and stuff so far. Has been great with the name change and the logo and the branding. We're super excited to see where we can go with this. So thank you, and strap on in for all the stuff coming up. And stay locked and subscribe to this podcast feed and more. But we are going to have Up Next on Post Wrestling starting this Saturday with the Post Deadline show. So I'm excited. Keep talking to you people about wrestling and all this fun, silly shit. Yeah. Oh, and merch. Oh, man. Don't even get us started. We're going to have some crazy merch. Cino went out of his way to somehow get it already stitched on a hat. And now
looks great.
Everyone's like, yo, where do we get these hats? And it's like, sorry, we weren't that quick. We're working on it.
We're working on everything now.
Yeah, we're a two-man show. Well, Cino's our executive producer. That's why he went ahead and somehow already got us the file for the stitching thing. It's crazy. Shout out Cino. I guess we can talk about...
And shout out Wei. He's been so helpful.
Wei, for sure.
For all of this. And John.
Wei's
been helpful a lot with all the technical shit changing this podcast over. So
I got a message being, did you leave? Are you guys done with post? It's over? No. We're cooler than ever now.
Who asked that?
A few people were like, hey, what does this mean? And now we're getting even closer. We're invading.
That's why you got to listen to the shows.
We're invading their station now. Yeah. We're invading their channel now. So we're gonna be on the same channel as WH Park.
Damn, that's exciting.
We made it.
Yeah,
we've made it. Shout out WH because he's signed on to do a show with us in January for our Patreon, which is going to be pretty sweet. So can't wait for that. I guess we can talk about some NXT. I will say, if you are in the Toronto area, I have 2 tickets up for grabs for Demand Lucha on December 15th. It's a Thursday in Parkdale Hall, Toronto. Gringo Loco's going to be there. Delirious is going to be there.
It's Gringo v Delirious,
I think
right?
so, yeah. Super Crazy is going to be there. The Dr. Lucha Evil Villains.
They're the best.
They're Toronto heels right now. Go check that out. If you are interested in going and you're actually going to go, you're in Toronto area, hit me up in the DMs. You have to follow Poisonrana Pod on Twitter or Insta, whatever thing it is you use.
Gringo could be back next year as well.
This is true.
The GCW show.
GCW has announced they're doing a show in March in Toronto, and I definitely think we should be going to
be
that
doing
as
something
well.
for that. Yeah,
we'll have to talk to Gringo to do some help some promo.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll need help. They'll sell it out. I guarantee at the Opera House, which Gringo in our interview said was one of the best venues he's ever wrestled in. And when you look at that,
that's when we saw him there, right?
Yeah. And now maybe he told GCW,
book that venue. Place. It's a good venue.
It is pretty sweet. All right, so I just wanted to get that out of the line too. All the housekeeping is done, and we can discuss some NXT.
Let's do it.
Yeah, our go home show for Deadline.
Yeah, it is.
This Saturday.
I thought you were going to say our go home show because we're going home. We're going to
This
post.
is literally we're going to post feed after this. Yeah, it'll only be the Poisonrana stuff going forward, but yeah.
All right. NXT, December 6th, 2022, live from the Capitol Wrestling Center. And we see Duke Hudson, who's telling Andre Chase that he believes in him, that he needs to believe in himself just as much as Thea Hale and Duke Hudson believe in Andre Chase. Chase gets all fired up, and he says he's going to give those two fuckers a Chase you ass whooping.
More or less, he said that. More or less.
It was bleeps, but yeah, that's what he said. And this leads us to our wildcard triple threat match, where the winner of this match will go forward to Deadline in the Iron Survivor match. And it's Von Wagner who gets the jobber entrance this week. He's already in the ring, taking on Axiom and Andre Chase. And Von, you know it's big match Von because he's got the braids. Been watching his Gringo Loco and got the braids going on.
I love this man so much with his braids. I swear he's got like color in them too.
They're little blondie bits today.
Blonde
Von. Andre goes after Braden Von right away with a big boot and is just all on top of him when Axiom kind of stupidly breaks them up. This allows Von to get the advantage, gets them both in a headlock. Andre sends Axiom to the outside and kind of tells Axiom, like, yeah, go, do your dive. And as Axiom's running up, he schoolboys him for a 2 count and tells him, well, that's a teachable moment. Von then launches Axiom on top of Chase on the outside and catches Von with the side Russian leg sweep.
He's got a really good side Russian.
He really wraps it, doesn't he?
Is that what makes it good?
Yeah, it's like a Bret Hart-esque side Russian leg sweep.
Yeah.
And
my favorites is Jeff Hardy's. Because then he does the bridge with the pin. Chase,
this is true. Well, this leads to the Chase you stomps, which is exquisite as he stomps down on Von. Axiom then ducks a clothesline from Chase and hits a tope suicida to Von. The speed he got on this was pretty crazy. Chase then hits a really nice looking tiger driver to Axiom for a 2 count. And then there's this sleeper from Axiom to Von. Von counters it into a powerbomb. And then Chase comes off the top with a high cross to Von. But his kind of momentum sends him out of the ring, allowing Axiom to follow up with his like running kick to the side of the head of Wagner to win this match in a pretty fun opener, I thought.
Yeah, lots of really good wrestling. I think the right guy won. We were saying while we were watching, like, as much as the fairy tale story of Chase would be really entertaining because he has been delivering, but I think Axiom mixing in there with all the other heels in that match, it just makes sense. But you know what? There was some good wrestling with all three doing different variations of moves, like together, like Von being kind of the bass.
The bass. In the braids.
Not quite. Yeah, he's not quite the bass god, even though he's got the braids. But he was good letting them kind of do different moves off of them. And definitely something we've been saying for a while, that, Chase U and Andre Chase has been like this comedy gimmick of the fake university. But like the wrestling is always there. It's basically some guy in his school sweater wrestling, but he actually is really, like, his ring awareness and his technical ability is really good.
He's a more entertaining Madison Rayne, because you know Madison Rayne on AEW is the coach that just goes out and loses every match.
Is that
it's
her
like, but
thing? Okay.
Yeah, she's meant to be the coach there,
right?
But then it's like, well, you can't be that good if you're always losing.
Yeah.
But Chase is way more interesting. I think he was definitely the sentimental favorite in this match. You could feel the crowd really wanted him, and if they keep up that momentum, whenever you go to what will probably be something with Duke Hudson, people are going to care about it a lot more than they did 6 months ago. Yeah. I think he's doing really well. But the right person won here with Axiom, and mixing up with those other people in that match should be pretty fun.
But there was like cool moves. Chase doing like a Liger bomb for a near spot, which was pretty good. Duke, I'm surprised didn't show up on Monday Night Raw because JBL was doing poker.
Or Grimes,
Yeah, where's Grimes lately?
Grimes has vanished.
Yeah, where did Grimes go? Oh, it's the crypto.
Oh.
It's dropped.
It has dropped.
So that's why he's vanished.
It depends if he cashed out. If he was smart, I think he cashed it out.
I still think put Grimes on the main roster with the Good Brothers and AJ.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
I think that should happen. But yeah, fun opener, but the right guy won to be added to that match.
Throughout the night, we get these videos highlighting the women's entrance for the Iron Survivor match. We start with the Cora Jade promo saying she's willing to do anything to win. If she did that to her best friend, what do you think she'll do to all these other people? There's no depth she won't sink to, and if she embarrassed Wendy Chu last week, you should see what she's going to do to the others.
Damn.
So, yeah, pretty just Cora being mean.
The generation of
Jade. Yeah. And then we see Julius Creed is being checked on backstage after his attack from last week. And the doc's checking his knee and says, yep, you're good. You're absolutely cleared. Julius is like, yep, knew I was good. And then Ivy Nile asks, wait, can you check his ribs again, please? And the doc says, oh, I didn't know anything was wrong with your ribs. I haven't checked his ribs. And you see Brutus is like, yo, not Ivy, what you doing? What you doing? Ratting him out, kind of. And Ivy's saying, look, I'm just trying to protect him. I don't want my brother to be hurt. And the doc goes, well, I can feel there's actually significant swelling here, and therefore you cannot compete. You are not cleared. Julius is pissed. Brutus is like, yeah, what the fuck, Ivy? And she just reiterates, I'm protecting him.
Yeah, what's with Ivy just snitching on the boys? Why is she being so protective all of a sudden? Like, these guys,
she cares.
These guys have been through some crazy stuff with Damon Kemp. There was a bloody ambulance match, and she didn't really seem to give two shits then.
She's really scared of Sanger and Veer.
Yeah.
So she's trying to, or is she? Yeah. What is this?
I don't understand why she would be.
What's happened that has scared her so much of these guys?
Yeah. Does she know these guys will crush the Creed brothers? I feel like they're messing this Creed brothers story arc up. It feels like it went in reverse. It was like, okay, they're good, they're getting good, they're the champions. No, they're not the champions anymore. Okay, actually, no, wait, they are the champions. No, actually, they're not the champions. Now they're gonna feud with a solo act in an ambulance match, which was still weird. And then now they're gonna fight with these two guys. And one of the guys was recently doing yoga, and the other guy there's a Disney movie made about. So what's going on? The Creeds have like digressed. And where's Roddy? Is he still in the hospital?
Is Roddy still okay? Like Roddy's like neck had broken because that was like a month after the attack, and he's still wearing a neck brace.
Yeah, I should change my iPhone wallpaper away from Roddy in the wheelchair. And where's Roddy? Yeah,
he's still hurt. He's still banged up.
I feel like the story.
He's got to come back soon. I know what you mean. It does seem. I think Ivy's being genuine. I think she's just worried about him.
All right.
But it's
bless her.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes more sense now as we know the New Day are going to be at Deadline facing Pretty Deadly. Yeah. So in doing that, they kind of gotta kind of keep Creeds busy before you imagine that's the next feud. So I think that's why they're just distracting them with Sanger and Veer right now.
Yeah.
And I see Sanger and Veer maybe as an act they might be looking at moving up quite quickly.
Okay.
Give them some seasoning and then move them up as a monster tag team, because I don't know if we got a monster tag team on the main roster right now.
No. You have those Vikings, but yeah. I'm not as interested in this feud as maybe I like the Creeds. They've been like some of the best stuff they've got going, so it's kind of weird that they're on the cool, and it's weird.
Yeah. We then go to Braun fishing.
We're going
fishing with Braun.
Yeah, we're going fishing.
It's going to be a weekly segment on Poisonrana, just fishing with Braun.
Yeah, Braun.
He caught the frog. Yeah.
Oh, that would be cruel if you caught a frog. He throws them back, though.
Yeah.
So he shows that he's a good...
Apollo kisses them first.
Did he?
Yeah. He kissed the fish.
Oh, man.
Threw it back.
Is that like good luck or something?
I don't know, man.
I don't know what visions he's been seeing about no fish. Yeah, I mean, they show the graphic. I mean, I feel like Braun, the last fishing segment, he got away scot-free because it's like... He was just like, yo, I like fishing. Sorry, but it calms me down. It's my thing. It's like, all right, cool. And then Apollo was at a diner. Yeah. And then last week, Braun decided to go visit Apollo at his diner.
At the diner.
So now, naturally, it's Apollo visiting Braun at his old water.
They literally must be there all the time. They're either at the PC, they're at home, or they're at the diner.
Oh, Braun, thought I'd catch you here. It's like, what?
I must say, the shots of Braun just in a fishing boat, it's pretty peaceful.
He looks so happy.
It looks really nice. It looks like a great kind of drama I'm going to watch, or some nice like independent movie or something.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about, oh, well, when I spear you on Saturday.
Have you ever gone fishing, though?
No, we've talked about this. I've been crabbing.
Because I just remembered there's my uncle just recently, we were talking about how I'm like, oh, next summer we should go fishing. And I hadn't seen him in a while. This was last summer. And my cousin, like when his first time fishing, caught this massive fish, like clearly like beginner's luck, like had no idea what he was doing. But my uncles like helped him catch it. So they, I don't know what it's called. Like I don't know if it's like stuffing a fish, but they somehow got this fish on their wall.
Okay.
Right? Like people do that, I guess. Which as a kid, I'm always like terrified at this giant like bass on the wall there, and I'm like, do people?
Did it move and sing?
Oh, we should get one of those. Remember those?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I just always was like, as a kid, like, why is this giant fish like on the wall? And I never got to go fishing with them yet, but I should.
Shall we take a day trip to, what is it, Bass Pro, the shop thing,
and get the gear?
Just walk around,
take
buy a
photos
hat.
in the gear, and then not buy it.
Yeah.
So we look. There's probably sets and boats that you can look like you're like posing with.
And we'll get the singing fish as well.
I mean, we're in Toronto. It's fucking cold up here already, wintertime, and I feel like we could go like ice fishing. That's a thing up north outside the city. You could try that. It sounds not that
sounds
fun.
cold.
Yeah, you just sit in a shack and drink and
like this looks nicer, you know, being in a lake in Florida in the sun.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'd be a bit mad if Apollo Crews just was like surprise.
Oh, I'd be furious. Yeah, if you were there on your own and then
he was a little annoying as well. So yeah, that's what happens. Bron's on this boat and Apollo comes to join him and says he just wanted a chance to hang out as kind of boys before it all goes down on Saturday. And Apollo starts to compliment Bron's engine, and and Bron says, "Oh, you like how that feels? You haven't felt my spear yet." This is what happened, yeah. And then Bron teaches him how to fish, and they
I've seen this movie before.
Apollo's like, "Oh, I'm a natural at this, just like I'm a natural in the ring. I'm a natural at casting fishing lines." And
we're talking about fishing, right? This is weird.
Yeah, Bron said, like, "I gotta give it to you, man. I love that standing moonsault you do." And Apollo goes, "Yeah, and I've noticed you do it too." Bron's like, "Well, you know, I just saw you do it and thought I'd try it." And Apollo's, "Well, you've got a lot of my moves. Looks like I'm gonna start having to learn how to counter my own moves." Apollo asks if he really likes it to do this, as he said, to like keep him focused, or he just likes being on his own. Bron's like, "Hey, look, this is just peaceful. I enjoy it. It's nice." And then Apollo goes on to list all the kind of big names that Bron's beaten, like Ciampa, Gargano, Dolph Ziggler, and Bron says, like, "Yeah, I face all these people, and I know what's at stake is because one loss, and all of this is gone." So Apollo suggests, "Well, hey, just hand me the title. If you're worried about cracking under the pressure, just hand it over to me." And he's like, "Ha, yeah, no, I ain't gonna do that." And then Apollo catches a fish, and it's a big one.
Was Apollo's fish bigger than Bron's?
Bigger than Bron's engine. Catches this fish, and they're like, "Wow." So he kisses the fish and throws it back into the lake.
Damn.
Bron says his game plan, like always, is power, intensity, and speed. And Apollo says, "Well, I'm the first person who's going to challenge that." They say, "May the best man win." Apollo can't believe he caught a fish because at deadline it's not going to be Bron's day either. Yeah. Bit weird.
Yeah, this was a very strange segment. Easy to pick on a segment about wrestling and fishing combined.
Yeah.
Easy. But like this one was weird. I think the one where it was just Bron explaining, "Hey, this is what I like," I can like totally see that as a real thing. And it made me feel like he's an actual person than just the character who breaks things. But here, it's Apollo. I've not liked Apollo's. They did what they did with The Fiend, Seth Rollins, and like the Joe Gacy stuff. Like you broke it. You went way too far, and now you're trying to put the curtain back. It's like, well, you already made this guy see the future and all this stuff, and now you're trying to make it like serious. And his acting for me doesn't. This is supposed to be the main event, right? I assume, of the pay-per-view this Saturday. This does not feel like that at all. This is two guys fishing and really bad acting. So I like both these guys, especially Bron. I actually do think Bron is going still in the right direction. I just think this one I'm not feeling. I thought they would change my mind, but then they're fishing.
The thing is, the build hasn't been that long. Like since they've like reignited it and be like, this is the thing. If it was longer, I'd understand having this 1 or 2 weeks, these like off location things. But we haven't had a single in-ring segment between these two, I feel. And that's what you need on your go-home show,
For sure.
I think. You need that hot segment in the ring great promos to sell you on the match. If this was towards the beginning of the feud, yeah, maybe I'd be like okay with it. It looked nice. It looked really nice. Apollo just came across irritating, I found. But they're trying to build this babyface v babyface thing. I think they could maybe focus more on like the stuff when Apollo was like, oh, you basically have my moves. They've hinted on it. It's like this is the first time you've got the athletic big man against the athletic big man. And they're showing that Braun's like a mirror of Apollo, basically. They could have gone more into that, but this just feels not heated at all.
Yeah, so like just not really interested in seeing these. Why would I want to watch these guys fight? They're friends. They fish together. I don't like. There's no heat to it at all. I will say you're definitely going to see them counter the standing moonsault.
Yeah,
roll out of the way.
I was hoping like Apollo would then just turn and just throw Braun in the lake and try and kill him. That's the heat it needs. Yeah. If you were doing this, and they'd almost swerved you all this time, being like it's all friendly. You didn't even have Apollo just snapped, and he's trying to drown Braun.
No, you didn't need to go that far. You just needed to like somehow boot him into the water, and then be like, "See you later, champ," and like throw his belt in the lake.
It would be for Vince at home. Vince would be, he
fell in the water.
He pushed him in the water.
Yeah, a dilapidated boat is what he should have used. Yeah, I don't know about this. I guess we'll see Braun use the toss powerbomb, the name that never got a move.
Toss powerbomb, yeah.
It'll just be that. I can't say I'm sure it'll have some cool stuff in this match, and I'm hoping the guys will deliver. But the storyline going into this is really boring.
I think the match could kind of exceed expectations.
For sure.
The build has been weak. We go to the ring to Bryson Montana.
I love
you
that
know
name.
Him, Bryson Montana.
I don't know Bryson Montana, but I love the name. It mixes one of my favorites, Bryson Tiller and Tony Montana.
Bryson
Montana.
It's so NXT 2022, isn't it? Closing out the year
Bryson
Montana.
I love this guy already. Unfortunately, he didn't have too good of a night. I mean, he had a great night. He was on TV, but before I didn't even realize this was a match.
Well, I think he was meant to be facing Big Body Javi. When Sanger and Veer just interfere, kill this poor guy, and then you see Javier Bernal coming out for his entrance and sees Sanger and Veer and is like, nope, and dips and leaves. Veer gets on the mic and says, Sanger starts off saying, Creed Brothers, we said we'd only face you if you're 100%, but clearly you're not 100%. So they then respectfully decline the Creed's challenge to face them because they want to face them at full strength. But they warn them, don't keep us waiting long. And then the Creeds come out to kind of square off with them, much to Ivy Niles' dismay.
So this match is not on the pay-per-view?
No.
So it's probably on TV in the next while. So, yeah, at least we're getting to the match, but not this Saturday. Okay, cool.
I could see maybe a segment on the show on Saturday where maybe the Creeds take out...
They announce it?
Yeah, the Creeds could take out Sanger and Veer backstage or something and have this announced unsanctioned on Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah. Shout out Bryson Montana.
Yeah, poor lad. We see Duke Hudson trying to cheer up Andre Chase when Thea Hale runs in all excited as she's had a match booked with Isla Dawn. And Duke looks a little worried because Isla's been pretty dangerous recently and says, look, Thea's not ready to face her yet. And Andre says, no, she can face her. Duke questions him, do you think that's right? I don't think she's ready. And Chase snaps, saying, damn it, Duke, I've made my decision. So sending Thea to her death.
To her death?
Against the witch.
Yeah, I like the Duke stuff. I'm just a little like, where are we going to go now? It's because Chase keeps snapping at him. Well, eventually he'd like snap back and destroy Andre. It's basically the Bloodline, but a university.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm into it. I think the characters are all playing it pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with the slow burn for this story. You need to feel heartbroken when this ends.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I watch wrestling. To be heartbroken.
Exactly.
Constantly.
Exactly.
Yeah, good segment.
You do. I'm sorry, I love you.
Yeah, it is my favorite.
Yeah.
Getting turns are the best. Something that was heartbreaking was that TikTok of Sol Ruka that they also played. I don't know if we already went over that, but they're doing a lot of this like TikTok segments where it's a lot of people filming dances and stuff, but then in the background, oh no, look, and then they use that to promote matches for like this week and stuff like that. So it's cool.
I don't mind it. It's kind of
cool.
I mean, WWE don't do the AEW thing, which is we always have to explain why there's a camera here. But like literally walk around, everyone's on their phone. It's like not surprising that someone's probably going to be on their phone backstage. And I think the TikTok
World
thing,
star.
especially if you can have it released earlier in the week, so people that are following these accounts kind of see it. I think it's kind of cool. And then it just sets it up a little differently. But yeah, we didn't quite understand why this week. So yeah, your Sol Ruka and what's her name? Blanking.
Is it Amari Miller?
Amari Miller, yeah.
She was with? Yeah.
They're backstage on TikTok when there's kind of a little bit of an argument between Idris Anofi, Malik Blade, and Briggs and Jensen.
Whoa.
So I don't know, like Malik and Idris just lost, didn't they?
Yeah.
The other week. So I think they were kind of pissed off about that.
Right.
And yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that they're doing that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm just too old for TikTok, but I'm definitely trying to give it a shot.
You gotta try, otherwise we'll fall behind.
At Poisonrana Pod, go be our first follower. We have 0 we do actually, because I don't use it, but I did.
Got 0 videos.
0 content. There is a frog display picture. So.
That's all you need. We're trying, guys.
It's over. All you need is frogs. Just associate with the frog. Drop a frog in the replies, fam.
Yeah. We get a vignette for Tony D'Angelo hyping up his return. We saw a commercial for another Ric Flair documentary.
Another Ric Flair documentary. Maybe we'll talk about this on Sunday for sure.
And then we go to our next match. Zion Quinn taking on Tony D'Angelo. And, well, D'Angelo just murders this guy. There's shoulder blocks, just knocking him down, clotheslines. He hits a hatch suplex, a spine buster. And then D'Angelo kind of debuts a new finish here. It's like Roman Reigns' NXT finisher. The kind of Uranagi, but
back suplex, rock bottom.
Back suplex into a rock bottom, yeah.
Yeah. We watched in our What's Next, Roman Reigns, when he was in NXT, used that. Interesting, now it is kind of like the Rock's move. A few other wrestlers have done it before, obviously, but Tony D'Angelo bringing this move out. But he had some really impressive suplexes here. I love this. I'm not a huge fan of, what's it, QT?
Zion Quinn?
Zion Quinn, sorry. Not
QT Marshall.
Completely different person. Wow. But I'm not liked much of this guy, and to see him get like just ragdolled by Tony here, it was kind of hot for me. I was like, all right, let's go.
I loved it.
That, yeah.
I thought Tony looked great here.
Italian Kurt Angle.
Just he was like a pissed off Tony coming in. Exactly. Yeah. Coming in and just like Zion got no offense in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Zion Quinn's not someone who wins much, but he looks like a scary guy. So having a D'Angelo just steamroll him, I actually thought it was quite good and made me a bit more interested in this.
Me too.
D'Angelo character.
Yeah, I know that when he had his run, I think a lot of people, at least us especially, were like, okay, like this guy's got some wrestling background. When's this wrestling gonna come out? When they really just made him the cartoon mobster character. Now having him rehabbing and coming back, and then just crushing this guy with belly to bellies and that new move and stuff. Instantly, I'm like, okay, are we going to see more of this? And more so, not so much like he's a heel, but kind of the respect heel, because the way he's been treating Stacks is like, go wrestle and prove yourself kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a different character. I'm sure he'll still do the, mafia stuff, which of course.
It's like how The Sopranos is, isn't it? Tony Sopranos is an awful human being, but sometimes he's like
hilarious.
But he's quite like genuine and has that respect
and
feeds
feeds
like
ducks.
That. Yeah.
So I'm surprised we haven't had Tony D'Angelo like out on a dock feeding ducks at one point in a pool somewhere.
Seeing a psychiatrist.
Yeah, like there is some stuff that I'm like, I wonder when show up on a horse, the team episode. Yeah, there's some good stuff.
He then gets on the mic Stacks gets on the mic and just says how fantastic Tony D looked and that there was no ring rust there. And Tony then says, I may not be Mr. X Factor, just like mocking Zion Quinn, but I'm like a shiny new hubcap He says, during physiotherapy, I gained some new revenues and connections, basically saying he's made a lot of dough during his time off. But for us, it always comes down to Wesley and that North American title. And basically, he says again, I was going to win that number one contenders match until you took a cheap shot and took my knee out. So blaming Wes for his injury. And this brings out Wesley, who says he knows that Tony's been eyeing him all the time and the title, but he's been eyeing him too. And this is where Stax cuts in, calls Wes a kid, and basically just says Tony D's the man and he's better than you. And Wes tells him to kind of switch off of the onto decaf, saying your man's a bit hyped up.
Tell him to switch to decaf and chill.
And just says, well, I will let you face me, but first I've got to settle things with Dijak. Tony says he ain't waiting. And this is when Dijak comes on the screen and says Tony is a scumbag in the streets and he's here to clean up the streets. Tells Wes to keep his name out of his mouth and nothing will stop him desecrating NXT. And then Stax tries to attack Wesley, but Wes escapes.
Yeah, so it's seeming like we got a three-way dance situation.
Yeah, this wasn't announced for Deadline, was it? But it seems that way. That makes the most sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Not into this Dijak character at all.
No.
Looking forward to seeing him wrestle more and get more opportunities, but this character is just...
It's so bizarre. Why does he keep going to these characters that like doesn't feel like it suits him at all? Like, you're right. The wrestling is going to be fantastic to watch him again just wrestle, especially here in NXT. And tangling with someone like Wes will just be awesome. But the character is this Terminator, wears the shades, wears this jacket, and talks real serious and scary, but not coming across that way.
I'm trying to think back. Obviously, there's always been, like, spooky shit and weird shit in wrestling. Yeah. But I feel it's more limited. You know, like it was... You had The Undertaker, you had Kane, and then maybe, Gangrel?
I mean, like Big Boss Man is what he is here. Like,
no, I know, but what I'm saying is it's just so weird now. You've got all these spooky people, and then this guy who... He's like some sort of, like, fucking Blade Runner, like... clearing up the streets, Terminator thing going on.
What is this?
And then you've got just normal people like
Wes,
Bron Breakker and Wes Lee, and who are just normal. It just makes it seem like all these people are insane.
Yeah, we're insane for watching this.
Yeah, not into the Dijak character. I think this match could be quite good, but I'd also like to see the singles versions of each of them.
Yeah,
as well.
I would too. So it is kind of making it a little muddied of where we're going to go with it, but either way sounds good.
Do you see this getting added to Deadline?
Why not? Sure. Although it is looking like it's a stacked card. We have 5 matches, so they could.
Okay, so probably not.
They could.
Okay. We go backstage and we see Hank Walker he's talking to Charlie Dempsey here. He says he heard what he said about him last week about securities getting wrestling contracts, kind of disparaging it, and says he knows what Dempsey's gone through and that he's wanted this all his life and has been wrestling all his life and following in his father's footsteps, and he only started when he was 24, but he wants to do anything to try and prove and be treated the same as anyone else, and challenges Dempsey to a match. And Dempsey basically says, I'm gonna prove myself right and fuck you up.
Yeah, I'm going to prove why security guards shouldn't be wrestlers, is what he says. So, yeah. Charlie Dempsey.
I think Hank plays this everyman character very well. Like, I thought he sounded pretty natural here in just being like, hey, I respect you. I think you're good. But, like, come on, I'm here. I deserve a shot as much as anyone.
Hank Walker dresses like one of the sons from, like, Home Improvement. Like, he just wearing that shirt.
He's very 90s, isn't it?
Hank Walker kind of referencing William Regal, though.
Yes.
Mentioning, hey, you come from a wrestling family. Your father is wrestling. Like, I'm not from that. And that's definitely, mentioning William Regal with all right now with the stuff going on with William Regal possibly leaving AEW, coming back. It's coming home.
We'll probably go into it more on Sunday, but
sure.
it feels that way.
It's interesting.
It definitely felt like a write-off. We talked about it on BD Elite last week. Regal getting kind of knocked out by MJF. It felt like a write-off. It does seem like he's probably got an office job waiting for him. He's had his fun. He like got let go. Was like had a bit of fun. Didn't commit to any kind of office role in AEW.
Right.
And then it's like, come on, do you want your job back? Yeah, I guess.
Regal's coming.
Yeah,
home.
but whether we'll see him as an on-air character as well, like I see using him like they did before, especially with his son being there, would be interesting.
I think referencing him here was done purposely.
Yeah.
Even if it like this doesn't lead to anything with Hank or obviously not Hank, but Charlie here, like referencing it. Finally, they've not really mentioned it.
I don't know. I mean, obviously he's been using the Regal stretch, but other than that, there
they've not
hasn't been
been-
kind of commentary going like you've had a lot of references over right from the beginning with Bron Breakker about who his family is. Charlie Dempsey hasn't really
hasn't.
he's
'Cause
had his like
because
Timothy
Regal hasn't
Thatcher
been here.
gimmick, has he? And well, yeah.
So I mean, now that Regal's
why
back,
would you? Why would you mention
Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah.
Let's go. I think them referencing
Regal, Charlie Dempsey, Drew
We'll
Gulak.
get into it, because the next segment there's another relation to William Regal, I'd say, but there is a promo before that match.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed him last week. I know I did.
I have to apologize because I just couldn't keep up with Mr. Scripps here.
Scripps. What the hell did he say? Because he's wearing this goofy mask.
It was like an orange light. So Scripps is kind of silhouetted. He's sat at a table. He's writing with his quill, and he's writing a poem here. I'm sorry, I really didn't catch much of this at all.
I couldn't hear what he was saying, so I bless you.
It's done in rhyme, and to like note it live without a rewind option was pretty hard. But yeah. He's reminding us who he is. He's here to rewrite NXT, I guess. His name is Scripps.
Man, this is the goofiest gimmick.
This was DOA.
Like, sliding in real quick to be worst. Gimmick, character, gimmick, costume, whatever you want to call it, everything.
Honestly,
so
I
bad.
thought with the debut, with that costume, to me, that was like Shockmaster level bad.
It was.
And I wouldn't have been surprised if he came out that week and we never saw him again, and they never referenced Scripps again. They're going with it. It's weird that it started off all these, like, performance center call-in things, graffiti on the wall and stuff, and now he's
Watcher,
and now he's William Shakespeare in a shitty lucha mask his kid made.
It looks like he took a mop with the long mop stuff, the ShamWows, and cut it up and put it on his mask. It's so funny. I thought we'd just never see him again. I thought
Me
they
too.
went, oh, you know what?
That was bad.
Let's not do that. Let's stop that. But instead, they won't be flipping the script. Instead, he's cutting more Watcher Shakespeare promos that matches nothing of what.
Very odd.
Oh man,
Very odd. We need Dijak to clean up these scripts.
This was hilarious, and I could not understand what he was saying because
He says what it means to be who you are holds you back from being a star.
And if it's everyone likes to know what's seen but never what's heard. It's like, what the fuck? Just stop.
Yeah.
Just cut
Go
it.
find
Cut
the poem. It will be on
Cut it.
WWE.com probably.
HBK, just cut it.
Yeah.
Bro. Just cut it.
Get
bro.
rid of this one.
Sean, just cut it.
We go to Charlie Dempsey versus Hank Walker and Booker T. This was his match of the night where he's like, I'm gonna just go off on one. And he's going off that it's so disrespectful that Hank Walker thinks he can be in the ring with the likes of Charlie Dempsey, these people that have been busting their ass. There was definitely, I sensed in Booker's voice, that kind of veteran, and then like a Miz walks in to start his career, and he's like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck does
So
this guy
Booker's
think
mad
he
a
is coming
security
in?
guard got a deal.
And
Booker
seemed
is,
genuinely like kind of pissed about it.
he's definitely playing heel in some
He
of the
is,
stuff
yeah.
as well, right? But yeah.
Until Walker beals Dempsey, and Booker's like, all right, okay, he's got that country strong going on. Dempsey then does this like running double chop to the wrist of Walker and starts to work that wrist, applies a Kimura, which Walker manages to scoop slam him off of.
The Kimura is very cool though.
Looks very nice.
Looks great.
There's then a gut-wrench suplex from Dempsey and the Kimura lock again, and this is where Drew Gulak comes out and stands on the ramp just looking, and Dempsey kind of considers him for a moment, and you think he might be a little bit distracted, but he manages to go for that. Sorry, but no, he goes right onto Walker and does this club right to the face.
Yeah, he does
him.
like these like clubs to his crossface clubs, and I think one of them just connects because Walker looked like he was bleeding right away from it. Looked great.
There's a wrist lock from Dempsey, and then Walker comes back with a quite ugly looking Luthez press, and then goes for the big boot, but Dempsey catches him and dragon screws him and applies the Regal stretch, and Walker taps out.
Yeah, I mean, Regal stretch, great that he's using his Papa's move.
Yeah.
It's like the other great little cherry on top there. But Gulak walking out, not just quite kind of like William Regal at Revolution, because that's how he showed up, but standing out there, scouting him, which has definitely been what William Regal has been doing for the past year in the other show. So it is like, okay. But also Gulak, we've not seen in NXT for quite a long time. He's been doing stuff all over WWE. I feel like he hasn't been used properly in quite a while.
Some 24/7
they'll
stuff,
pull him out
for
some matches. I remember when Danielson was still there and stuff like that. But instantly caught my attention. I think right away you could go with teaming Dempsey with Gulak. Do the whole evolve catch point thing here in NXT. Hell, you could even maybe find a third person who's like super into the wrestling aspect of it again. But instantly, right away, I'm like, this is great. Let's go with that. Right away brings me attached to this.
Yeah, I think you can do the match first, and I don't think you need to wait too long. I think you can have that kind of Dempsey's looking for these proper wrestlers to challenge him, because Dempsey's character is he hates all this kind of 2.0 shit.
Bullshit.
Like the likes of scripts and all these gimmicks. He wants to face a wrestler. So Drew Gulak, who's a fantastic kind of pure wrestler, comes out. I think you can go to the match pretty quick, and then I'd be totally into like a respect angle between those two and having a bit of a stable going.
We got to bring in William Regal to manage his kid, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he won't be able to use the Blackpool Combat Club. Neither will the other guys anymore, I guess. But like, he will have his own faction managing his own kid, and it will be fantastic. I can't wait. Is it me, or does Charlie Dempsey look like Pete Dunne, but also Charlie Dempsey looks like the guy from The Bear?
Yeah, he does.
Jeremy,
who's in the Von Erichs.
Yeah, he's in the Von Erich movie with MJF and Zac Efron.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jeremy Kyle?
No, that's the Jeremy Kyle.
Jeremy Allen White.
Right, okay.
He looks like that
guy.
Yeah,
he does. No, I'm into this. I think Gulak, obviously this isn't, Drew Gulak coming to NXT isn't going to be something that's going to shake the foundation of wrestling to the core and get killer ratings.
No,
but just for, you're going to get quality matches. I think Dempsey's proved, like, seeing what Dempsey could do with this much bigger guy was pretty impressive. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to, and just some really good, enjoyable like pro wrestling.
Yeah, actual wrestling. And you know what? Charlie Dempsey's showing some good submission stretches here with Hank. And Hank, I
great
love
facials, and he's got that Pete Dunne attitude.
he's
that
mean.
Pete Dunne, like right from an early age, had that
Scowl.
just mean like scowl on his face, and Dempsey's got that too.
It's the chops. It's his sideburns. They go like all the way down. That's definitely a look. But I'm seeing star written on Charlie Dempsey for sure.
We get a video for Zoe Stark. She's kind of walking around at night at this bridge.
She's on a train track.
Yeah, she says timing is everything, and there's no better timing than Iron Survivor, because that'll be her time, and 4 other women can't touch her, and she this time isn't going in as a friend or a big sister. She's going in as me, and it'll take her 25 minutes to change history and win this thing.
Yeah, another kind of generic thing. I could have gotten a bit more heel. I mean, she's just turned heel, so I could have a bit more bite.
Yeah, I even got more tweener from this, because she's like, hey, I've been in like these tag teams all the time. It's time to like prove who I am.
Yeah, and anytime you're walking on the train
you
tracks,
know they're trying to make her a heel.
Yeah.
It definitely, I agree with you. Felt more tweener here. We go to backstage with Grayson Waller with Mackenzie Mitchell, and he asks if Mackenzie has missed him, and says, we're ending the year with a bang at Deadline, and he knows Mackenzie doesn't like his show because she knows that he's a better interviewer than her, and he wants to size all these competitors up tonight in the Grayson Waller effect, and they're already nervous, and everyone is when they feel the Grayson Waller effect.
Same old thing from Grayson Waller for me. But
so main event of the evening is going to be Grayson Waller interviewing the other 4 people in the Iron Survivor match.
They should go fishing instead.
Yes.
To promote that match. That'd be great.
Yeah.
5 of them.
Or crabbing. It's Christmas time with Pretty Deadly.
Christmas time.
And so you've got Pretty Deadly, Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. The ring is decked out in Christmas decorations. They're sat arm in arm, side by side in a Christmas chair.
I love the visual here. These guys,
they look like elves.
Oh man,
it's great.
Yeah, one of them's dressed in like a Santa outfit. One's in like a more elf costume. They've got the classic Santa like chair that you see at malls everywhere.
Yeah.
The whole ring is decked out in Christmas. It got a huge pop when I saw them dressed like this for sure. Yeah.
They do a retelling of The Night Before Christmas with one person doing the line, the other person doing the rhyme.
I love how one of them sits. I always forget which one is which, and then when they're wearing like hats and stuff, I can't even see what hair color is which. So Elton Prince and Kit Wilson.
Pretty Deadly blonde, Pretty Deadly brunette.
One of them sits on the other as if like sitting on Santa's lap, which again got a big pop from me.
They say, was the night before Christmas, and all over the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And it was so exciting that the devilish handsome boys couldn't go to bed. And they say that their sacks overflowed. And
with lots of gifts.
Yeah.
They make a lot of innuendos.
Very a lot of innuendos. Say, you will all fall to your knees and worship the tag champs. And we're patiently waiting for us to tell you all that it's not soccer, it's football. And no one has matched them blow for blow in the ring. And we begged Santa and put it in a letter that no one knows them better. And they're going on and on. It was okay. They say that 22 will end as 2023 will be Pretty Deadly's year again.
Yeah, I love these guys, and I definitely love their promos and their whole characters more so than mostly their wrestling matches, which I haven't really seen anything that's definitely gotten too much of my attention. But this does, because the way they look and stuff. I felt like they were losing it. Like they had the beginning. It felt
like they I don't know if one of the pages got stuck together, because one just went like, wow. I was like, that was weird.
It felt like it was losing where it was. It definitely lost the crowd here. But at home, us watching, we're like, okay, well, it was starting good because you were trying to rhyme everything, but it was kind of going a little off. But
yeah, I didn't think the rhymes were that great.
I think they could have. I think instead of
they've had a couple of their last segment like this in the ring. What was it they did?
Yeah,
the State of the Nation or the Queen's thing.
Address, yeah.
Yeah, didn't particularly land. I didn't think this particularly landed here. I think they're very funny. I'm with you. I think the outfits are brilliant.
Hilarious,
that pre-taped vignette they did with them, how they spend their day, was fantastic. This, I thought didn't feel quite as polished. And I thought the lines could have been a lot better.
Yeah, what they were trying to say didn't necessarily hit. The lines didn't hit as well. All they needed to come out was just have a Christmas celebration and say no one, because basically the end of the promo is saying we're the champs and there's not a team to face. There's no one to face. We've beaten everyone, so there's no one who could face us. I mean, who could face us?
Who? The New Day come out.
It's a new day.
Yeah, big surprise here.
Yeah, we were shocked. The crowd was shocked. Everyone shook.
This is probably the biggest, like since they've started having the main roster people coming down. This is the biggest act, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
to have come down.
Kofi and Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
which they've definitely been. I mean, Xavier Woods coming through NXT, but Kofi
was a bit before NXT.
Yeah, he was FCW and stuff, so I don't think he was there.
So they say that was a fantastic story. Big reaction from this crowd with New Day rocks. But he says the story we want to hear is who you are defending them against at Deadline. Ooh. And they say they've beaten everyone but the New Day. They give a yes boy of their own.
I love how Kofi says yes boys.
Yeah. And they ask them to put the titles on the line on Saturday, and then they beat up Pretty Deadly. They're smacking them with the presents and crash like these big gifts on their heads, and then super kick them in tandem.
I like how they did the "will become the new W," and I was like, wait, did he mean to say that? And then he went NXT champions, and then afterwards they posed with the title belts. A great visual of the New Day holding the NXT tag titles, as Booker T was just furious. He was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, I kind of hope this could be just a short one and done thing to put a star.
Nah, strap them, lads.
Well, I kind of think they are so stale now on the main roster. They've had these same characters for years. There's been no like real evolution. Like Kofi, since losing it, there was nothing. Same with Big E after he lost. There wasn't really much redemption story. Obviously, he's out now and injured. They've told the story now with the Usos of going to break their reign as longest champions. There's nothing really going on for them on the main roster right now. So why not have them be like, hey, lads, do you want to make good money and stay at home for a bit in Florida or whatever?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind strapping them.
I think so, yeah.
You could move Pretty Deadly up even, have some fresh matches, have New Day and Creeds down the line. Do it just for a couple of months, and then please like move them up and refreshen them. Whether it's going up as heels or something, but the thing is, these guys have just been on TV for years now. And we love them. The New Day are great. They're like a top act, but there needs to be some change with them, and maybe just have them have some fun in NXT and then reinvent them a little bit on the main roster.
When Big E comes back, they'll definitely have a good 3-man power trip for sure. Like they'll definitely get a bigger push when Big E, and hopefully he rests up and all that. But I think bringing them in here, I feel like we're getting too into this, and it's totally them losing to Pretty Deadly, and that's it. But how great would it be to kind of refresh some things here? You could have them defend against Briggs and Jensen, Malik and Idris. You could have them defend against a bunch of other NXT makeshift tag teams. Just a bunch of teams. The Grizzled Young Vets. Perfect. That's another great match. And then eventually give the titles back to the Creeds, I think would be the great story arc here for NXT. But honestly, you're right. They're not doing anything on the main roster unless it's time to face the Usos again. Like they're not doing anything right now.
Yeah, unless like they're more interesting at this point having a singles run, really, aren't they?
Kofi,
both of them. You don't need to split them up, but like give them both singles run. But this has been added. I don't know what's going on, but I'm into this. This could be fun, and I imagine the outfits from both teams will be outrageous.
Yeah, it will be.
Did you see New Day? At some house shows, have been wearing the green and white Power Ranger outfit.
Rest in peace, Tommy Oliver.
Apparently they were actually kind of boys, weren't they?
Of course. I mean, JDF, Xavier Woods, they went back. Xavier Woods doing the Power Ranger gimmick all the way back from NXT. We were talking about him in Was Next shows. But they also, think about, different Comic-Cons and all this stuff, crossing paths and stuff. JDF was totally open to doing stuff with fans. And he was dipping his toes into wrestling as well. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. Those outfits are awesome. The ones,
very
ones,
cool. Yeah, we see Isla Dawn. She's a witch.
She's a witch.
She's round a fire or a cauldron or something.
She's a witch.
She's a witch. She's laughing and says, "Alba Fire, I hope you're watching."
And then she blows out a candle. You know what that signifies? She's gonna put out the fire.
The fire.
So that match is Saturday, but Alba's got a match now with
Mackenzie Mitchell approaches Javier Bernal backstage and questions him, why have you been looking over your shoulder? Are you scared of Veer Sanger? And he says, that's very insensitive, Mackenzie. I've actually got a twitch, and says that she's scared actually. And Mackenzie goes to ask another question and it's like, you know what, never mind. And Javi says, well, that's what Sanger and Veer have said when they saw me. They're actually scared of me. They said, never mind. Mackenzie completely disagrees when Ikemen Jiro walks past. So Mackenzie asks him what he thinks about Javier Bernal. And he first gives a look like, I have no idea who this guy is.
Who?
And Javi goes, big body Javi. And Jiro goes, big body chicken. Oh!
That Jiro.
Yeah, big body
Rodney
chicken.
Dangerfield over there.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Remember Jacket Time?
Jacket Time, yeah. Never forget.
Glad
to see Kushida's thriving.
Yeah, glad to see Kushida made the right decision leaving and Jiro's still doing this. But, well, yeah, remember Jacket Time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. But, yeah, I assume teasing a Javi versus Jiro
match? I guess so. I'm enjoying these Mackenzie and Javi encounters.
I like how she's like, I'm not going to take your shit.
I'm not taking your shit.
I'll take everyone else.
I've been here longer than you. Pipe down.
Also, look at you. You're not a wrestler. You're not compared to some of the other guys here. Like, I wouldn't be scared of you.
Yeah, I love it. She's funny. We go to Isla Dawn versus Thea Hale And Dawn is just killing Hale for a lot of the beginning of this match, throwing her around. And we see Duke Hudson, Andre Chase at ringside looking very concerned. Isla applies this neck crank submission, but Thea starts to fight out of it and fires back. Hits a fisherman suplex, which looked pretty nice, and then did this spot where she runs the rope and does the warrior shake.
The Batista.
And very funny, and then does a springboard back senton, which I thought looked pretty cool, actually.
Kind of like the coffin drop.
Yeah, I thought it looked really good. And fun spot with the ropes, I thought was great. But Dawn comes back with a roundhouse kick, and then stares down at Chase U as she hits the final cut, but she isn't done. She picks up Hale again, stares at Chase U, and does the final cut again for the win.
Yeah, wow. So she's a witch.
She's a witch.
Yeah, there was some cool back and forth, but really it was just to give Isla her win.
We haven't seen much of Thea actually wrestle on NXT, and I thought this was her best showing, actually. But just a big win to build up Isla. After the match, smoke appears. Where there's smoke,
there's fire.
Yeah.
Alba Fire.
Alba Fire shows up and attacks Isla Dawn, and they get the big pull apart with all the refs separating them.
As Vic
Moxley Hangman, this was not.
Yeah, Vic Joseph saying there's going to be biblical wrath.
A biblical wrath could be coming to NXT.
This Saturday.
Isla Dawn hits the poison mist, but gets one of the poor referees instead.
It's witch mist. The poison witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just made me pull up Monty Python. She's a witch clips during the break.
She's a witch.
She's a witch. She makes a good witch though, and you know what? Both of them coming from NXT UK. These two, if you follow them, they can wrestle. So actually, taking aside
the match should be good.
Yeah, take aside all the kind of ridiculous stuff that we've kind of been seeing with the characters and so forth. I think the wrestling could be pretty good. So I'm willing to give them a chance.
I think it's. I find this. Alba Fire character, so I feel every feud is just her appearing and attacking, swinging her bat. I feel that's been her feud for forever.
She thinks she's Sting
now, and it's I need a bit more from her.
Put her on the main roster.
I need some actual I need to know who she is more rather than just this.
She's told us she's from the ancestors
not this
of fire,
stuff. Just modern day, because all she
Scotland.
does is swings this bat around.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm into this feud, but I think the match could be okay.
She's going to tell us about her ancestors in Scotland and the fire breathers and fire worshippers.
Well, now we get Lyra talking about crows.
Who? Oh yeah,
Lyra Valkyria.
That's not a name.
Lyra Valkyria. She says that the Morrigan used to turn into crows, and they would take a feather from each battle, and there's a point where they've got to stop stalking their prey and actually take it, and she's going to take it next week as she makes her NXT debut.
It's very like we mentioned last week or the week before, Xena, the warrior princess. Yeah. But I swear she's wearing her ring gear as she's running through the forest.
Yeah,
wearing her kick pads.
Probably.
Doing jumps.
In the Morrigan.
It's kind of a lame first shot of a character, but hey, maybe she could be pretty good. So sure,
it's again. There's just so many of these characters that you've literally just come from Fire Girl and the Witch, and now you're talking about how you used to be a crow.
It's interesting. I watch. I work at CH in Toronto, Hamilton, and we air Women of Wrestling and Saturday nights, 10 p.m. on CH. And I feel like it's very Women of Wrestling. WoW does this. It's okay, here's this crazy character, and here's a vignette for the character. It's very what NXT 2.0 was like. Everyone's got a side career. Everyone's gonna explain their story and their ancestors and their grandma and what is special to them. Here, she has feathers on her gear and. Every feather is different and all this stuff. And
I get it. They're trying out all these characters to see what ones actually
just
do stick and which ones feel a bit more natural and you can move them up and they can work. Yeah. It's just sometimes it's a lot. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a bit out there. But
I didn't watch a whole lot of NXT UK, so I can't say I've seen.
I've not seen much of her.
This was Aoife Valkyrie, right?
Aoife Valkyrie. Okay.
So, but yeah, let's see.
Lyra Valkyria. Interesting.
Is it Lyra or Lyra?
Oh, Lyra Valkyria. She reminds me of Princess Aussie on WoW. That's why I brought that up.
All right. We go to Roxanne Perez's video package, and she says, as long as as long as she remembers, she has dreamt about this, but now she needs to actually live it. And she knows she can take Mandy Rose. She got screwed last time, and now I need to get her. But how do I prepare for a match that is brand new? If I go in second, I should put myself in the... she goes, if I enter like anything but first, she might as well put herself in the penalty box and never come out. The only person stopping me is the person I'm looking at. And it pans out, and she's looking in the mirror, talking to the mirror.
Yeah. She sees the woman in the mirror. She's willing to make a change.
Yeah. So she's going for her living her dream.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of these ones. I thought they were not as well thought out. I felt everyone was pretty cookie cutter for the character. I was expecting some heat. Like, oh, this is a first time match. It's my opportunity to be champion. Why are we not kind of?
They're all again very very heavily character based, but not.
Yeah.
I think what we get from Indy later is the most real one of all of them.
I agree.
Which has made me completely change from thinking it could be Roxanne Perez's match to leaning, okay, they could be heating up Indy here.
I think so too.
But yeah, this one didn't really connect with me. We've heard this story. We know she's young. She's always wanted to be a wrestler.
Play video games.
Yeah, it's I'd like a bit more now. And then they start explaining about the Iron Survivor match, and I hear Braden say, I still don't know the rules to this. And then I hear Shawn Michaels go, well, if you lose a fall, you get put in a penalty box. Just explain these rules again.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens Sunday. I don't think it's as complicated as it sounds. It's just any time when you've got to have a man sit down and just explain. It's like Christmas time's coming up. We always get that new board game at Christmas, and someone has the poor job of reading the rules to everyone, and you see, and I know, Braden, you're the first one to switch off when someone's doing that.
I just did right now.
It's exactly that, isn't it? It's like, right, here are the rules of the games, kids. And you're like, oh, I'm not listening.
I'm gonna have to do that with my Stardew Valley board game.
Yeah. Hey, she might be listening.
Oh no. Yeah, I had my jingle all the way moment of 2 months ago, my girlfriend being like, look, I want this board game for Christmas. It's all I want. You don't have to get me shoes or anything. Just get me this board game. I went, yeah, okay. She said, it'll disappear. Like it's a hot commodity. Stardew Valley board game. People, apparently it's a hot product. I went, yeah, sure. Back order, whatever. Pre-order, yeah, whatever. I go to look the other day. It's online. I'm like, okay, there's a few stores that have it. Okay, cool. I go to order it today. That's not so much the case. Now everywhere else selling it for a lot higher prices. So I had to basically chase down a mailman. There was bombs exploding. There was a whole lot of things, but I got the board game.
Nice.
And that'll be me trying to learn all the rules for it. I definitely won't be able to. Although we had a games night playing Monopoly, and I was forced into playing, and then I ended up winning. So I was like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's taking over.
Nice. I forgot to talk about Briggs and Jensen versus Idris Sanofe and Malik Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Skipped right over it. And this was quite a fun match, actually.
Well, we had the Kiana James promo. But they made their entrance, and then it kind of... The storylines kind of weave in there.
Oh, yes. I skipped Kiana James as well.
How could you, of all the segments, skip probably the best one?
So Kiana's in the office talking to Jean.
It's G, and it's G. She's back. She's on TV.
She's on TV. Our Jean. She says... If you can't spot the lamb on the table, then you're the lamb. And I see 4 lambs, and they're going to the slaughter. And she says, Iron Survivor is a match that needs strategy. And I know all about strategy. And I will send everyone to the penalty box and watch as the clock ticks down. And she asks Jean if she's bought sodas and stuff for the party.
I like that new soda water. Did you get that one? And she's like, yes, I got it.
She's like, of course. I got your soda water. And then hands her an envelope with the kind of Briggs and Jensen logo on the front, and says she's gonna
take care of business,
turn shit into gold. And then the phone rings, and she's like, "Hello, Kiana talking." She goes, "No, I can't do Saturday. I have deadline on Saturday."
Whoa.
So yeah.
So G is her assistant secretary, but Kiana answers her own phone.
Well, she'd already given the envelope to
take
Jean,
care of this. Jean. Mean G. G's been very supportive of Brazil in the World Cup on her Instagram.
Did you see them yesterday?
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed. Was that today? Wait, that was yesterday. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Go Brazil, I guess.
No.
Go Portugal.
Go England.
Go Canada.
Portugal won today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to
Beat
go.
the Swiss.
Forza
Beat
Portugal.
Cesaro.
We beat Cesaro. It's game time. Portugal's taking it. I wanted Japan to win. I was getting into Japan.
They had a great tournament.
Yeah.
They were fun to
Canada
watch.
had a great tournament.
The game today, Morocco and Spain. That was good.
Yeah.
Yes, Spain are out.
What's England's next game?
France.
What's Portugal's next game? How are we looking
Portugal will be... They're facing Morocco, I think.
I just want Portugal to face England now. That's the ultimate... can it happen?
I'll have to look at the brackets.
We don't need to do that now, but definitely...
But England, France, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go World Cup.
Go World Cup.
Sports.
It's been fun. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I have been too.
We go to Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen taking on Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. And Malik and Enofe are kind of pissed at Briggs and Jensen and charge them right away.
Yeah, a lot of fired up actions here.
Brooks hits his swinging facebuster on Malik, and then they do the slide through the ropes, double punch to Blade in the ropes. Jensen's flow is starting to look really nice. His mullet.
Oh, yeah.
His curly mullet going on. Looks very good.
I love his, what is it, business in the front, party in the back?
Yeah.
It's what he's got going on. Yeah,
He's got it going.
Good mullet here.
This is where Gene comes out and pulls out the envelope and puts it in Jensen's jacket at ringside. There's then this crazy moonsault to the outside from Malik where he completely overshoots Briggs, and Briggs luckily kind of steps back and saves him here. Looked spectacular, like the height he got, but this was close, this one.
Yeah, Briggs, is a vet, and I think he saw that he needed to move in order to help him out, but it still ended up looking awesome.
It looked cool, yeah, but could have gone very wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
There's then a V-trigger from Enofe in the ropes to Brooks, and then follows up with an elbow drop for a 2 count, and this is where Von Wagner runs out, and Odyssey Jones attacks him. Jensen then hits this really sweet, rolling, spinning heel kick.
Yeah, very beauty shot Tyler Breeze or Owen Hart, but Idris sells it like he got hit by a bazooka to the face. He does the landing on the head, the spinning around and everything. Oh, man.
And then they hit the high-low clothesline on, I think it was Malik here.
Yeah, maybe Idris,
to win the match. Briggs and Jensen winning in what I thought was a pretty fun match here.
And look, Brooks was distracted by G, but still got the match won. So he's getting better. He's not just distracted now.
Exactly, yeah.
But what do you think's the letter from G? Do you think Kiana James is trying to take away Briggs and Jensen from the bar and Henley?
I think Kiana James knows that Jensen is the weak link. They know he's attracted to them. They've heard him say I'd do anything for them.
Right.
So they know if they can get to Jensen, that everything could topple there.
Interesting.
But no, I quite enjoyed this match. I liked how Briggs and Jensen got a kind of meaner streak towards the end when they isolated, I think it was Idris. I thought the finish looked really nice. They're improving every week, and I think Malik and Enofe are a lot of fun too. Yeah,
we'll definitely be talking all about the year that was, and likely unlikelies for the 2023. But I think it's a sure shot to say that Malik and Idris should be tag champs by next year. I think they should be.
I think they could.
I think they've been killing it here. And you know what? Briggs and Jensen also have been stepping up and actually putting on some pretty sweet matches. But both teams kind of putting a little banger here. I liked it, yeah. But Malik and Idris, definitely they were different today because they weren't bad guys, but they came in fired up.
But both teams had a bit of an edge.
Yeah,
this
way
week,
more edge than
nice.
just the vest wearing. Maybe the vest thing is done, but I liked it. I liked the kind of evolution of their characters.
And just to let you know, England and Portugal could potentially face in the semi-final.
Wow,
big one.
Forza Portugal.
Book it off. Well, this continues where we see Fallon Henley backstage preparing for her match when Jensen opens the envelope and says he's been given by Kiana James VIP tickets. Kiana's invited him to Deadline, and this made me realize, wait, so if you're not booked, are NXT stars have to buy tickets?
No.
What's the VIP ticket?
Yeah, it's weird that they did that because it would make you go, wait, what? Why? What? So wait, he's just not going to be there? I mean, he's not booked, so.
He's normally just hanging around backstage. They're watching it on the TV, having beers.
Also, you're telling me that G has more pull than Brooks and Jensen? They've been here longer than Gene.
Maybe Kiana owns some of the
Stocks,
PC.
and she owns everyone. She's a businesswoman. Yeah.
She's a businesswoman.
Yeah,
doing
kind of
business
weird.
things.
I thought it would be like 2 tickets to a show with G. I don't know, something to like
To
keep him
dinner,
away.
to some. Yeah, it's
Solo
just
him
like
out.
doing 2 Deadline. It's like,
So we're gonna see a segment with him, I assume there,
I assume so, yeah.
with G. So we're seeing G on Deadline.
Maybe.
All right. The pay-per-view buys through the roof. If you
Through the
promote
roof.
Gene.
We go to our main event match of the evening, and this is the 3-way women's match, the wild card for the Iron Survivor. And we see Toxic Attraction in the Toxic Lounge. They're watching on.
As Booker T asks Vic, "Yo, dog, how do I get a invitation to the Toxic Lounge?" And Vic says, "Ask Wade Barrett."
Yes. It's Indy Hartwell taking on Wendy Chu and Fallon Henley. Indy tries to pin both at the same time. Chu gets rolled up but kicked off, which knocks Indy off the apron. There's then a great looking kick from Wendy in the corner, followed by the sleepy elbow, but Fallon moves out of the way. There's then a big boot from Indy as we go to commercial. After the break, Fallon is starting to fire up and is hitting elbows to both in the corner, and then does Jensen's facebuster, like the swinging facebuster. But Chu breaks up the pin, hits this really nice over the head belly to belly suplex, and then Indy catches her with a spine buster, but Fallon breaks that up. There's then a Tower of Doom spot with Wendy at the bottom, and then Wendy starts to get frustrated as she's going for pins, but both keep kicking out, and she then hits her top rope, like inside out splash, like top rope Vader bomb.
Vader bomb, yeah.
And then Indy runs in, throws Wendy out of the ring, and then hits her elbow to the back, kind of like
The bullhammer.
Yeah, to the back of the head, and pins Fallon Henley. Indy Hartwell is going to Deadline.
Wild card. Wild card. Yeah, a pretty good match. Consider like all three of these women, I think, are great wrestlers. I know Wendy Chu has this sleepy gimmick. It doesn't do any justice that she's literally wrestling in pajamas in this match. I thought we were moving to more gear stuff, but that's just like I love her theme song, the sleepy trap hip hop beat. I love it. I love that she's become this character. I just think, again, doing the sleepy elbows and things, there's different things you could do to make this get way bigger reactions and stuff. But the wrestling is there for me. Wendy Chu is an awesome wrestler. Overhead belly to bellies. The Vader bomb looked sweet as well. Same with Fallon Henley. She's definitely no slouch.
I think she's great.
She's probably showing Brooks a thing or two. Honestly, she's fantastic. And the spot where Indy hit the spine buster, I thought that was it. And then the match continued because she broke it up, and then it continued. I thought it was pretty good. Indy kind of not stealing the win, but at the same time, she doesn't just take the pin from Wendy's move. She nails Fallon with that bullhammer. So
it's been interesting, this Indy character, because she's the kind of finish here definitely felt like that like heel ending as one hits this finisher and you throw him out. Her character over the last few weeks has felt kind of heelish, but then last week they were building her up as this girl that the crowd just get behind. That is, I think it's their way of building her as a babyface, as they're just going, she is so determined now. She's had enough of being a background player and she wants to seize it. It makes her the most real character in this match, I think.
Yeah.
And she cuts a great promo a bit later that we'll get to, but I was happy to see Indy win, and I thought this was a pretty fun match, especially the kind of closing stretch.
I would have been happy with any of these three, but it makes sense with the story with Indy, and we've been saying for weeks now, if not months, like what are they doing with Indy?
Yeah.
With everything, with the Way leaving, Dexter doing his stuff with the Miz, like Indy's just chilling here, and they were wasting her away. So it is good to see that they're doing that. And then when we come back from break, they do the segment.
Yeah, so Indy goes into the Toxic Lounge.
She interrupts their promo.
Yeah, and says, Mandy's going on saying, oh, I'm so good, they have to have 5 women fight to see who can face me, and at the end of the day, it's going to be me. That's when Indy comes in and says, doesn't let Mandy talk at all, says, it's going to be me. I'm going to be the one to win the Iron Survivor. I'm going to be the one to beat you.
I'm taking it!
Saturday is my day, and for months people have been wondering who's going to be the one to take me. It's going to be me. sit down front row or on Peacock, but as soon as that 25-minute clock stops ticking down, it will start counting down to my championship reign. I thought it was the best Indies ever sounded.
Yeah.
This is no kind of silly, but fun, but silly Dexter Loomis story or anything. This was just, a wrestler wanting to win a wrestling match. And I thought she sounded great.
Yeah, she sounded fantastic. It's way better that she's this more down to character. Again, having an edge in wrestling makes sense. It doesn't mean that you're not a bad person if you're like, I want to win this match and beat you. No, that's what you're here to do. So it makes way more sense. And she is good in this role. And I feel like the odds now of me thinking Roxanne was the one, it could be indeed with the whole story. Then the way things are going, it kind of does make sense as well.
Yeah.
They announced the pre-show for Deadline, which has a familiar face. One of our friends there that we did a show with recently, Denise.
Yeah, she's going to be on the pre-show with, was it Sam and Mackenzie.
Is it those three? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Denise Salcedo. Check out our 2.0 year in review show with Saul Monster.
A couple of months ago. Yeah, great chat with them. No,
she
good to see. She's doing so well.
Yeah, she's killing it, man. Definitely go check that out. We'll be watching, obviously. But they did not announce any matches for the pre-show, at least.
They tend not to on NXT.
Okay.
They did one for Stand and Deliver.
Oh, right.
That's right.
Okay,
but they don't tend to, I don't think.
Cool.
We go to our main event segment. It's the Grayson Waller effect. And Waller is saying, because this is a first time ever match, and he's going to win the first one, and you never forget your first time. Apart from that fat bloke front row who's never had a first time. And you see McDonough and Carmelo laughing at this. The heels kind of laugh along with the heels quite a bit in this.
Batman
and they're all in Hawaiian shirts, both JD, Mello, and Waller. With the palm trees, I was like, guys, it's December now.
Okay, I mean, you're not wearing a button-up shirt now. You're wearing a Christmas hoodie or something. But I will say, you're an expert at the button-up shirts as well. But Waller got waxed by the other two, and he's supposed to be the guy who wears the best shirt.
Mello had the best.
Mello had the best, but JD's definitely slayed Waller's here, just for
This was quite an understated Grayson Waller shirt this week compared to some of his others.
He was outshined.
He's had better.
He even makes a joke like Mello stealing my gimmick by wearing fancy shirts, and it's like, yeah, look at his shirt. He looks amazing.
That's the stable we need. We'll get Ethan Page in there as well.
It, yeah, for sure.
Hangman wears different shirts, but Hangman wears some nice shirts.
Yeah, Hangman will lead the Butterfly Jeans Club. But fancy shirts and wrestling. I mean, The Rock obviously would be.
Yeah. Oh, Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
But as for WWE, like Waller has been wearing the fly shirts, but Mello just cleaning house with this.
He had the matching shorts.
Yeah,
as well.
that's the fit though. Like that's it. Mello.
Poisonrana shorts coming next summer.
yeah. We're working on some interesting gear ourselves, so can't wait. But I'll say Mello standing out here. You had a bunch of like geeks and the star Carmelo Hayes is what I got from this, because Waller just roasts everybody. Yeah, which doesn't help, but
yeah, and I'm just sat here wishing it was still summer, looking at them all. I'm like, oh man, I don't wait.
And I'll say it again. I wish they were all fishing.
Yeah. He says, as you said, Wallace starts to run down everyone. He says Axiom's the only one brave enough to rock a turtleneck in 2022. Gacy is a sociopath turned to a psychopath. He calls JD a garden gnome because of the size of his head. And says Carmelo Hayes, the A champion, but is actually more recently a loser. Ooh. Mello fights back at him, and Wallace says, oh, he's also a asshole, which isn't grammatically correct.
A asshole.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. He's an asshole.
Or he might have said an a asshole, perhaps.
Right.
My notes. Grayson says he's the only one who knows how to be a survivor because he was on the Survivor. And this is where Mello says, well, we don't care about some show where you're running around naked on a beach no one watched. Like on this show no one watched.
Mello just got on the mic and murdered him, I thought.
He's like, we got US Survivor. We ain't watching Aussie.
Yeah, no one.
Survivor.
I don't even.
No one knows who you are.
I feel like every day Australians are living Survivor.
Yeah. Mello kind of points out that he's the only one that everyone of that panel picked. They were like, it's got to be Mello. He says, I am still the A champion and I am here. JD says, wait, hang on. You lost the championship twice and you lost both those matches in a 5-man match. And obviously this is a 5-man match as well. So he says, you're at the disadvantage here. Mello says it doesn't matter if he enters first, second, third or fourth. He will have the same juice, whatever. And JD says that Mello's been protected since he's come here, and you're going to wake up in a lion's den, and you won't be smiling when the lactic acid builds up and you're struggling for air. And McDonough says that he has a bigger gas tank than everyone, and Mello jokes that Waller couldn't last 25 minutes. Ho, ho, ho. It's one of the things that they keep on making out like it's this epic. 25 minutes, they're going a long distance. We see 25-minute matches all the time. And some of these guys are only going to be in there for 10 minutes. So
some of them are going to be in the, what is it, box?
In the penalty box.
Penalty box.
So, yeah, it's not like this is an hour-long
yeah.
Iron Man match where, oh, I can go the distance, I can go an hour. It feels weird. 25 minutes, I can do it. Gacy says he's capable of speaking as a group, as individuals are selfish, and so far it's been waves in a kiddie. He says waves in a kiddie pool move differently than waves in the ocean, and he will act differently. And Axiom agrees with Joe and says everyone will act differently, but he has the ability to adapt. The ability to adapt is the ability to evolve, and he knows how to evolve. The heels all call him a nerd, and Axiom says he actually wants to enter in first or second, as it gives him the most time to get multiple falls. Gacy says, yeah, but if you come in first, you can lose more and be in the penalty box more. And Axiom goes, well, I want JD in the ring first, so I have the most time with him to get my revenge. And JD tells him not to worry about the penalty box, worry more about the hospital. He will put him in after. Gacy wants the 4th spot so he can take advantage of everyone once they've gone in the penalty box for 90 seconds and all your dreams fade away. The schism tree will grow taller and roots stronger.
4 roots.
And then they're all kind of shouting over each other. Fuck. Waller questions, you never know who will be the first one to strike. He strikes and then dips out of the ring as the other 4 are fighting. And there's a great looking tope suicida from Axiom. And then Waller follows up with the tope on Hilo as they're all brawling on the outside to close the show.
Yeah, again, not a segment I would particularly say gets me excited for a match, let alone not a weekly TV match, like a Saturday night premium live event. I feel like it was just really cold. All 5 guys out there, and you're letting Waller lead the charge. All these guys are bad guys, and then you have Axiom, who does oddly, I don't like his mask, but I did think it goes very, very nice and makes me laugh when he's
in
with
the
turtleneck.
Yeah.
I just thought this was so weird and didn't get me excited for this match at all. And I think that was the pattern with every match setup, except the New Day just randomly now being advertised. I was already going into this the past few weeks. I've been saying, like, oh, this show feels really cold. I just don't care. I'm not interested in most of these matches. This week definitely, like, put a stamp on how I feel about that. This is just so bizarre that they're just standing out there like it's a talk show.
I mean, what I found here was they were really trying to get these rules over to us, and I think they're trying to get us to understand, like, what could happen. It just felt... As I said, I think once we watch this Iron Survivor, it'll make sense and it won't be as complicated as it sounds. And I think they're really going out of their way to try and get us to understand what it is. With them going, well, I'm going to go in first so I can get more falls. Oh, but if I go in last, you'll all be beaten up and I can take advantage. I get they're trying to get us to understand that. And at the end of the day, just have us watch the match and be like, oh, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because... what you want at the end of the day is a heated feud to build to a match, and this isn't that at all. And definitely not like a closing segment.
It felt like when I watched Trump and Biden, like, just talking back and forth at a debate, like they were all just standing there at their podium, like, arguing, and I'm like, none of the things you're saying make me excited about this
Like,
match.
I'm remembering back to Elimination Chamber when that was first announced, and no one knew what it was going in. You saw some designs of like blueprints of what it would look like, but I remember them saying it's 6 men and it's going to be a mix of like Survivor Series, Hell in a Cell, and War Games or something like that. And you're like, okay, but how does it work? But then you didn't really care because you had those feuds going into it. You had the Triple H and Shawn's story. You had
Everyone's feuding.
Everyone is feuding with everyone. So it was like, I don't know what this match is, but it's those 6 in a ring, and it's going to be great. Like, these are five great wrestlers here, so I'm sure the match is going to be entertaining. I think they're going out of their way to try and make us understand what these rules are, and it's to the detriment of the actual story.
I mean, you kind of, how I feel about it is it's the Iron Survivor match, meaning AKA it's NXT, we can't afford the Elimination Chamber here, so we're just going to do it without the Elimination Chamber and a penalty box. I'm not even like bothered by the explaining of the thing. I just thought this was so lousy, and expecting this to be like a big pay-per-view. I'm not excited for this pay-per-view. All 5, I'm sure this will be the match of the night, the 5-way with these guys, simply because look at this. Carmelo, Waller, JD.
I like Waller. I think he's good.
Axiom, like, I do think the wrestling will be really good in this match. Hey, Gacy can wrestle too. I do think the wrestling will be good in this match, and I do think Melo is the only standout one that stands out as an actual contender to face Braun and take it from him.
And I think that's the story they're going to push. They're going to push that he hasn't won in any of these 5-man matches, so he is going to win this, and he will be the big challenger for Braun down the line.
Yeah,
I think. I don't see any of these. We've had JD McDonough and Gacy feud with Braun. Axiom, like another like face versus face thing. Axiom just doesn't feel. I like Axiom. Doesn't feel hot enough yet.
No.
Waller, I don't think is like. I don't think that's a big match. I think it's got to be.
I do Carmelo Hayes versus Braun at New Year's Evil, and I had Braun show up in the Rumble.
Okay.
And move him up at this time. For a go-home show, it did not get me heated for any of these matches, unfortunately. The only thing I'm relatively excited about is this 5-way because the wrestling will be good, and I know it will be Melo winning this thing. It just makes so much sense, and I can't wait to see that match between Braun and Melo. But as for trying to ignite the fire behind of why these guys are fighting and all that stuff is, I mean, obviously why is they're going to win a title match, but like, them talking over each other in that final segment was not very good. And then, let alone that match, but to set up the world title match that you're supposed to be caring about is 2 guys laughing and fishing, and this guy's kissing a fish and talking about how I'm going to beat you, I'm going to counter your moonsault, it's really good. I did not think that was a way to promote a world title match. And then on top of that, I'm just being real sour, it was the women's Iron Survivor match. Like, the only thing heating this up was this, you added Indy, which adds a complete different factor, but instantly like disregarding everyone else in that match now because everyone felt very generic in those promos. Yeah. So as much as like all this stuff I'm saying, I didn't mind this episode. It had some really good wrestling in a lot of those matches, specifically Malik and Idris versus Briggs and Jensen. I thought the wrestling was good. I thought the wrestling was good in the Indy triple threat match as well. But to get me excited for the pay-per-view, they definitely did not do that.
I usually just prefer closing on a match as well, in general. I'm with you. I think I'm looking at the card now, and I think on paper it looks all right. I actually think the wrestling's going to be pretty good this Saturday on this show. But yeah, the build has been lousy. None of the matches feel heated. I think, say Bron Breakker, Apollo Crews a few months ago before all of this, seeing the future thing, I think that sounds like a good match. I am kind of looking forward to seeing what that is, and I think these Iron Survivor challenges, I'm looking forward to seeing. It's a first time match. I'm curious to see how it will play out, whether it will work, whether it's something they'll decide to do again. The talent is there. You've got New Day on this show now as well, but yeah, the build for all of these matches have been incredibly lackluster.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some good wrestling, but hey, how about some predictions for this show?
Let's do it.
Carmelo Hayes versus JD McDonough versus Grayson Waller versus Gacy versus Axiom. I think we both are on the same page.
Melo makes the most sense.
Melo is money.
Melo is money.
He doesn't miss. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes needs to be NXT champ to close the show out, I think, Melo will be the last champ of the year. I think he needs to beat Braun right off the top. Just do it. By hook or by crook, honestly. It'll bring a refreshing thing there. What about the women's Survivor? Stark, Jade, Perez, James, and Hartwell.
It's got to be... Mandy's your champ, so it's got to be either Roxanne or Indy. Before this week, I thought Roxanne was the clear one.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure. I think they've built up Indy pretty well. I think it could be her time, so I'm going Indy.
All right, I'm going to go with Roxanne.
All right.
And she'll take it off Mandy, and Indy will be hurt, so she goes after Roxanne.
They have kind of built up that as well, Roxanne and Indy, haven't they?
Exactly.
So it could be.
What about Pretty Deadly and the New Day? Which now we're just like, yo, fuck it, give it to the New Day.
Right, do it.
Absolutely.
Give it to the New Day.
Yes, boy.
Yeah.
Alba Fire versus Isla Dawn. Also, did you know she's a witch?
It's got to be Isla Dawn. She's the new character they brought in. Sucks for Alba Fire because she loses every feud, but it makes sense for it to be Isla.
Do we get the spot where Alba has the bat that's on fire and the witch, Isla Dawn, who does the mist, sprays it and puts out the fire, and then, like...
Why not?
Do it.
Sprays and it blowtorches into Alba's face and burns her.
Yeah.
Like Kane.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be spookiness. And then Braun Breaker, Apollo Crews.
I don't see Crews winning this. It's got to be another retain.
I don't even think Crews sees him winning this.
It's got to be Braun.
Yeah, they'll go fishing again next week and blow it over.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Yeah. Well, that's Deadline.
That's Deadline.
I think Braun's retaining, too. Yeah.
Let's go to some feedback on the Poisonrana Facebook group. If you are already a member of the previous upNXT group, it's just changed over. It's just changed a name and a graphic. If not, search for Poisonrana on Facebook and join us.
Yeah.
Join us!
Join us, please. There's the Poisonrana Facebook page. If you follow that and subscribe to that, you will find the group in there as well. But yeah.
We start with Sean, who says, tonight's NXT was not the best go-home show, and honestly, apart from the Iron Survivor matches, Deadline feels more and more like an afterthought. Braun and Apollo have done nothing but reinforce my belief that face versus face feuds are a terrible idea. I love the New Day, but nothing screams we have nothing else for you like Woods and Kofi challenging Pretty Deadly for the NXT titles. As for the Iron Survivor qualifiers, the men's triple threat started the match with a banger that more than anything made me want to see Axiom versus Andre Chase best of 3 series. Unfortunately, any momentum that match created was ruined by the ending tonight with a promo segment from 5 guys no one wants to hear a promo from. As for the ladies, I get Indy winning, but the women's triple threat was clunky and didn't do anything to sell me on her as a legit contender. And honestly, none of the 10 competitors in any of these matches strike me as viable contenders to defeat Braun or Mandy, except Melo and Roxanne. I'm sure the matches on Saturday will be entertaining, but if the rumors are true about NXT heading back out on the road with its PLEs, we are going to need to build better builds than this. See everyone Saturday.
Yeah, thank you for writing in there. But yeah, that's something we did not mention. PW Insider has said that it's looking like NXT is going to bring their premium live events on the road, starting with February 2023 Vengeance Day.
All right.
In North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Does it say venue?
I don't know the venue right now, but yeah.
Like, I wonder what size, whether it will be piggybacking off like they used to do, off the big pay-per-views, or whether it's more of a traveling to kind of smaller size places on the road.
It'd be cool. Like, it's so easy to piggyback off a weekend with WWE and do it in like the smaller venue, right? Like,
that's what I think it would
makes it special too.
I think it would be cooler to do like some smaller venues for NXT. I don't think they're not at the level they were a few years ago when they were doing, you know, your big Brooklyn shows and all that. But I think going on the road is good. This just to work in front of different audiences. Yeah. This crowd are like very supportive and there every week, but you've got to see how some of these characters get over in front of other crowds. It's better for the performers. I'm kind of for it.
But be honest, if you saw this card for Deadline, would you think people would go to this show? You think it would be a sold out show?
It depends. Like, I'd go if it was in Toronto, but it depends what you're charging. It depends.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine they're not. I doubt they're charging as much as main roster tickets.
Well, we don't know. They've been in this free arena. For
I know.
The past
I don't know,
so.
but it depends how you price it, where it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's always wrestling fans always want to go to wrestling if it's in town, right?
Absolutely. We go to one more here from Andrew McDonald, who writes in, apparently former ROH six-man champion Dutch and Vincent were in the crowd, and I wanted to specifically give a shout-out to Dutch as I saw him wrestle in FCW as he was released 11 years ago.
I did see those photos floating around.
Of Dutch
and Vincent, yeah.
I always find it amazing when former developmental wrestlers get released and are able to come back, and it's good to see hard work paid off for him. Oh, all right.
Nice.
I didn't realize that, but shout out Vincent and ROH. Thank you guys for writing in. So that was Up Next. That was NXT. We'll be back this Saturday, but we will be going live on the Post Wrestling YouTube, and then the audio, the podcast, will be on the Post Wrestling feed. So if you do not follow that already, obviously you should if you're listening to us. But we will be going forward with Up Next on the Post Wrestling feed, and then come weekends here on this feed, we'll have Poisonrana with Davie and I chatting all different stuff of wrestling. And our first one will be this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you miss it, the video replay will be up on our YouTube and Twitch. And the audio will be on this feed for the first ever Poisonrana episode.
Very excited. Come join us. As we want to see as many of you live as possible in that room. Come join us. It's going to be a first time. We'll see. I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, we got Saturday night on the Post
We
YouTube.
could be next week being like, BD Elite is back. That was a terrible idea.
Fuck it. No.
Fuck the frog.
The frog. No. We can never, not like fuck that owl chant. No, fuck the frog. Never. We'll never do that. Until we sell. No, I'm joking. Saturday night, deadline on the Post feed, and then Sunday on our feed. So again, follow all the socials at Poisonrana Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
And check us out. Only $5 a month to access, to be a friend on the Poisonrana Patreon, to get almost 400 podcasts on this feed as an extra Christmas gift. And going forward, we're going to drop some free old shows going forward. So look forward to that on this feed coming soon too.
And every time you concede a fall, you go into the penalty box for 90 seconds.
I literally phased out. I don't know what you started talking about numbers. I don't know. All right, guys. Hey, thanks everyone for the great feedback for the name change going forward. We're really excited where we go with this. So for Up Next, we're keeping that on the Post side. So we'll still be your NXT friends, and we can't wait to see where we go with this Poisonrana stuff. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting us and going forward and all that stuff. And thank you, Davie. We're going to do this thing.
We are.
We're going to do
you
this
and I
damn thing.
together.
That's right. Together forever. That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And see you Saturday night for Deadline.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.